Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now we've got some great news. Well, it's great news if you like Predator. And who doesn't like Predator? Who doesn't love Predator? We've got not one, but two new movies. Two Predator movies looming on the horizon. Well, they're not quite on the horizon yet. They're kind of just over the horizon because they haven't even begun to make them yet. But they are, and that's the important thing. And with the success of Prey a couple of years ago from Dan Trachtenberg, which I loved, as you guys know, I've got some reservations on it. There's a few niggly elements which I think could have been improved, but overall I thought it was a great new entry in the mythos of the Yautja, the Predators. And I talked a lot about it. I bigged it up. Every little image that was leaked out, all the little snippets of information about the plot that came out, I'd do videos on it. And then the night when it was going to be premiered on Hulu for some people and Disney Plus for other people, I was liaising with people all around the world. Some people didn't have to go to bed, but I was in bed because we didn't know what time it was going to drop. And the night was alive with messages. Oh, do you think it's going to come on yet? What's going to happen? And it was great. It was like being a kid again. Only, a lot of us were in our 50s. But it was still great, good fun. And yeah, I did a commentary for it. I reviewed it. I've talked about it a lot since. And, the potential for a sequel to Prey. Well, we're getting a sequel to Prey from director Dan Trachtenberg, reuniting with Amber Midthunder as Naru, the Comanche warrioress, with their dog Sari, who took out the feral. And that bit of a wimpy, stupid idiot of a Predator. Not the best, was he? But as we know, he came from a different part of the Yautja homeworld. He was a different clan, and he wasn't quite experienced. So he worked up the evolutionary chain, the food chain. Little animals first, then big animals, from wolf to grizzly bear, and then the most dangerous prey of all, man. And the even more dangerous prey of all, woman. And he came a cropper, didn't he? As the Preds always do, don't they? They always get beaten, don't they? But we'll talk more about that. Now, Trachtenberg is hoping to reunite with Amber Midthunder to make Prey 2. So again, that'll be set back in 1719, if I remember rightly, or thereabouts. Because that fabulous concluding image, sort of the tapestries and the old Native American sort of illustrations, it depicts their village after, she comes back, she's blooded herself with the Pred's blood and all that, and everyone's happy. She's got the Pred's head, and the tapestry depicts a lot more of these ships. I don't know if you can see it behind us there. The Predator ship arriving at their village, and we don't know what happened next. Probably nothing, because there's no story in development. For Prey 2, there's nothing known about it. There's no talent attached to it, according to our sources. But it's going to go ahead because that film was a big success. The most successful streaming movie ever, I think, up until that point. And it's worthy of more. Amber Midthunder was fantastic. And if you didn't like a female lead taking on a Predator and winning, then you ain't going to like the idea behind the two new movies. So you're going to get Prey 2, which is nothing's even happened on that yet. It's in massive pre-development, early stages. But it's going to be her being the warrior again, obviously. But the one that is going ahead in July this year, they intend to start filming it. So they're really fast-tracking this. And this is from Dan Trachtenberg again. And he's co-written it with Patrick Eisner, who did Prey alongside him. And it's called Predator Badlands. And it has nothing to do with Prey, other than the fact you've got a Predator and some human prey. And this one, there's little known about this. Predator Badlands is the title. And it's set in the future. Well, that actually is quite a nice concept because we've had, present day, let's call it, Predator with Arnie and co. That was, although it was the 80s, it was present day. Predator 2, slightly in the future. It was set sort of a couple of days from now, if you know what I mean. There wasn't ray guns and hover cars and nothing like that. It was pretty much the world as it is now, just slightly hotter and with a bit more of a higher crime rate. So in fact, it's kind of like what it would be right now, to be honest. And then you got predators, different planet. Then you got the Predator. And we're not talking about the Predator ever. And for all intents and purposes, we ignore the AVP movies because they're nothing to do with this, the proper original franchise. So in the future, could be quite clever. Now, it's called Badlands. Now, I think the Badlands, it's a term often used with the Wild West, and it's a place in South Dakota where a battle was fought between US Armed Forces and Native Americans, a kind of conclusive battle. And the Badlands has always been it always refers to a place that's barren, and there's not much in the way of vegetation or trees. It's rocks and canyons and ravines and dusty scrublands, the Badlands. Although you will hear people refer to the likes of Vietnam as going back to the Badlands, my man, for Rambo First Blood Part 2. And it kind of depicts somewhere where it's a hostile environment, the Badlands. But it's a geographical feature. But it seems to, you'd think that Prey 2 Badlands would be more the apt title. Because what it evokes, if this is the future, it sounds sort of like a post-apocalyptic environment. Sort of Mad Max 2. We're just guessing. Spitballing. I have no idea. It could be an off-world colony for all I know. It could be like a space station which has been taken over by smuggling space pirates, and a predator gets on board. I hope they're listening. There's a lot of ideas coming thick and fast here. But it evokes deserts, ravines, a dry area, and that speaks more of apocalyptic wastelands and the Wild West. So scavengers and who knows. But what he has said, it's a female lead again. So you didn't like this concept of a female lead taking out a predator. Prey, that's what it had. Prey 2, that's what it's going to have. And Predator Badlands, we know it's a female lead. I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all. The horror film genre, and let's face it, Predator does fit slightly into the horror genre. It's a monster movie. They're horror action thrillers, but there is a horror element to them. And the horror genre has built itself on people being picked off one by one, which is a full Predator sort of synopsis there. And then you have the final girl. So it kind of, it's legacy. I don't really have a problem with it. But it does seem odd that given the success of Prey, there was a lot of, sort of backlash against it as well, especially on the volatile, toxic forums, which you should never do, folks, by the way. But it is fun occasionally to dip in and out, and I've done it because of the news breaking about this. So I've read been a lot of flack. What, more women? I want some testosterone in my Predator movies. That said, and like taking the piss out of these guys, but I'm wondering why he's done this again. Why he's focusing on a female protagonist and a female lead. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But he's doing the same thing again. From the outset, we have no idea how these films are going to pan out or what's in store for us. But Badlands, there could be anything there. I like the fact that with Prey, they went back in time. So our heroes had sort of outdated, antiquated weaponry, but great survival skills and cunning and wit and guile, stealth. All things the Predator should have, which the Feral didn't have. He was a bit shit at that. But people who lambast that Feral, they're forgetting that he's inexperienced. He's blooding his weapons, blooding his claws, his first proper hunt, and he makes the right hash of things. But that's the story there. But taking the Predators back in time as well, he had different weapon systems. So I like the fact he went back in time and had him going against a different kind of people with different style of survival tactics and strategies. Now, if you're going to go ahead to the future, is it going to be a world where mankind has better weaponry and also knows about the Predators, the Yautja? is it going to pay respect to what's gone before? In Predator 2, they know the Preds exist. So you could have all sorts of ramifications here, where our heroes in Badlands know what the Predator is and maybe have been suffering these attacks quite a bit. Now I mentioned like what the Badlands are, a geographical, topographical feature of arid wasteland. Well, we know the Preds are drawn to the heat of battle, and as Anna says in Predator, in the hotter years we began noticing our men like butchered, and sometimes much worse, and it grows hot this summer, and so we know we've got climate change, the temperature's going up all the time. Maybe he's going to play into that sort of thing about climate change and an arid new landscape, endless summers of scorching temperatures, and of course the Preds just love that, so here they come. But we don't know, do you? But if the Preds, if we've got more advanced technology perhaps and knowledge of them, maybe they've got advanced weaponry, so you're going to see new weapons and toys and gadgets and gizmos that the Preds got this time round. Is it just one Pred? Could be a few. Who knows? It could be a proper battle movie between, like, colonial marine wannabes. I know everyone wants that, don't they? But an armed force waiting for predators and laying ambush and traps for them. Who knows? I'm spitballing, folks. But and as I say, it could be off-wild. You just don't know. It could be like a desiccated mining colony on some distant moon, and the Preds are picking on that to have some sport. Could be anything. But the good news is that we're getting more Predator movies. Yeah, we got The Predator. When was that? Was that 2017, 2018? Who cares? Shane Black, mate, he's like the renegade, rebellious younger brother of Quentin Tarantino. Sparky dialogue, wit, funny, acerbic stuff like sarcasm, one-liners and quips, endlessly in situations where you wouldn't be saying anything to anybody. You'd just be keeping your head down or running like fuck. But whereas Tarantino, who I'm no great fan of Tarantino, but his film, the Tarantino style is dialogue, and it can be fantastically clever, really intelligently done. All very character-based, but they're all infused with Tarantino's verbal diarrhea. He just cannot stop, can he? So all his characters just endlessly jibber-jabber away with clever put-downs and wit beyond wit beyond wit. And Shane Black tries to do that. Let's not forget he's Hawkins, yes, in Predator. Oh, so he has every right to make a Predator movie. And didn't we all think, oh, this would be great, it's going back to the roots here. And it was garbage. It was a hot, stinking mess. And you can always say, well, it is the studio that interfered and did change the story and then change the way it was going to evolve and change the ending and all that. Yeah, but it's still his idea. It's still his story. He still came up with that and wrote the dialogue for it. And it was a hot, stinking mess, as I say. And I hated it with a vengeance. Predators, I actually liked that quite a bit. Apart from that sagging middle section. Oh, God. With what's his face? Oh, Mr. Clean from Apocalypse Now. Not Forrest Whitaker. From Matrix. You know who I mean. But that bogged that movie down, that middle section there. And going back to Prey, the element I did not like about it was the French trappers. I've said this many times. They're either in it too much or they're not in it enough. I still can't quite work out which it is. I think he just put in this other idea. I mean, up the body count. Let's have another sort of, more antagonists in here to make life hell for our hero. But it also gives the Predator a chance to kill and desiccate more bodies and show off his toys a bit more. But for me, it felt clumsy. I'd rather they either weren't there at all or they had a much bigger element in the overall story, that they already knew the Comanche tribes and there was already interactions going on. I think it pushed a bit too far and then not far enough. Doesn't make any sense, I know, but then again, I didn't think that element made sense in the movie either. You might have different opinions, of course, but I have talked about that quite a bit. I still love Prey, and I still want to see more of Naru. I thought Amber Mid-Thunder was fantastic. It helps that she's completely and utterly gorgeous, but I also found her quite believable in the role. She wants to be a warrioress. She wants to hunt with the rest of the tribe, to be blooded and to be known as, you know, she's athletic, she's powerful, she's got her own sense of survival skills. She can look after herself, but she can also look after the tribe, which Comanche women were able to do. They were hardened and very ruthless and nasty fighters. So that was not messing around with wasn't being woke or anything at all like that. It's telling it how it was. The only difference was that she would be indoctrinated into that lifestyle anyway, because they were. So it kind of like, why has she got to prove herself? Why does she feel the need to prove herself? Because they would have to do that anyway to fit in with the rest of the tribe. But Prey 2, I'm looking forward to. Now, would it be a much older Naru, maybe? Or would it literally be taking off after the ending of the first movie where, oh shit, I've just killed one of them and now his friends are here. Uh-oh. Right, you lot, listen. You need to attach a rope to an axe and learn how to throw it and bring it back without smacking yourself right in the face. Yeah, there was that element as well. And she manages to outmaneuver the feral at the end, and her entire trap hinges on the fact he's got to be in one particular place for it to work properly. And I don't know, I sound like I'm knocking it now, don't I? And there are elements I don't like about Prey, but overall I love it. And I love Sarah Sachner's score, which you're hearing right now. Love it. Tremendously tribal, ethnic, and pounding and exciting, and also very moving sort of score, which really worked with the character of Naru. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more Pred action. And but Badlands, we need a lot more to go on. So it is just supposition, but we shall see. I'm looking forward to both. I am curious as to why he's gone with a female lead in both movies. Well, in all three of his Predator movies. Seems slightly weird, but last I heard of Badlands, they're actually actively looking for the lead role right now. So there's no names attached. That's it. Apart from the two writers and the director, that is it. There's no one else attached to it. So it could go anywhere. Could do anything. Practical effects, I hope, prevail. But you're not going to make a movie like this in this day and age without liberal use of CG. Let's just hope it fits and it's smooth. And if you're off-world, you're going to take a lot of it, isn't it? Again, he could do it on a reasonably low budget. If you're setting it in some kind of facility somewhere in the desert or on a moon, a space station, you know, a spaceship, it could be anything, and it gets invaded by a Yautja. Well, there you go. You don't have to go to extensive locations, and of course, for Prey, they did use fabulous locations and exquisite cinematography. I do hope they bring back the same cinematographer, because that really lends an entire mythical grandeur and scenic splendour to what is an action thrill fest, horror, creature, feature, monster movie. You can't always say that about monster movies, can you? But, folks, comment below and let me know what you think about the future of the Predator franchise. So long as we can keep Shane Black away from it. And he wrote Lethal Weapon, one of my favourite movies. But even that, the screenplay is not very good. You know, Riggs, son of a bitch, Riggs, son of a bitch. Oh God, he sat and wrote that. You know what I mean? Dear Shane, shit down and shut up. Right, folks, I have been always Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever news breaking in between time, please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all. More Predator movies. Why can't you bring back Arnie?